All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger and every other imaginable social media network. One simple address, X-Zone Radio TV. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. I'd like to welcome a new addition to the rel-mar, I guess we can call it stable of broadcasting networks. Over the weekend, we were able to acquire the World Peace Broadcast Network, both radio and television channels. So to all the people at WPBNTV.net, welcome to the rel-mar family. Exonation, this hour, we're going to be talking about a subject that I think is very important. We're going to be talking to Laura Doyle, and the pitch that grabbed my eye was 5 reasons marriage counseling is total BS. And I went, huh? And I read the information, and after reading it and going to Laura's website, which is www.lauradoyle.org, I had to have this lady on the show. Now, every year, hundreds of thousands of couples go to marriage counseling, thinking the therapy could save their deteriorating marriages. That's what Laura thought would happen when she and her husband spent years and thousands of dollars in therapy. Their surprising conclusion? There was nothing wrong with them, but there was plenty wrong with the counselors. Now, still happily married 18 years after starting marriage counseling, Laura now says the entire industry is BS. And you know what? I've heard that from other people, so if anyone listening around the world is having a problem with their better half or their lesser half, it all depends what kind of mood they're in, this is the website I'm going to send you to, www.lauradoyle.org, and we're going to be talking to Laura this hour about her new book entitled The Surrendered Wife. Joining me now from the beautiful state of California is Laura Doyle. And Laura, welcome to the X Zone.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
How long did it take you to realize that counseling was total BS?
Oh, only several years. Oh. To this day, it pains me a little bit to have to say it because I know there are a lot of good-hearted marriage counselors out there. They mean well. They want to help. The problem is the system just isn't set up the right way to actually be helpful. The only person that can really help you have a better marriage is somebody who's got one themselves.
That's right.
And that's not one of the requirements for being a marriage counselor. We look at diplomas on the wall instead of the quality of the relationship that person is already enjoying.
In your opinion, after doing all the research that you have for your book, The Surrendered Wife, and your own experience going through marriage counseling, what is the biggest downfall in today's society when it comes to marriage failure?
Well, I think one of the things that happens is that women, we've all gone to work and shattered those glass ceilings, and we've learned assertiveness training and things like that at work. And it's very different goals at work than what we have at home. So at work, you want to improve the bottom line and manage your projects and your staff. But husbands don't want to be managed. And to give you an example, I remember my husband, before we met, he was dating a third-grade teacher. And she would say things to him like, go sit down, put that away, like she was still talking to one of her 8-year-olds. He said it was a big turnoff.
I guess.
But I think this is kind of a common problem amongst modern women. We've all had to learn assertive at work, and we know that our education is important and success in the business world is important. So how do you turn that off when you get home, where the goals are very different?
So are we looking at a total change in the way men perceive women, and this is leading to the actual marriage breakdown?
No, I think it's actually just the opposite. Because what's wonderful about men, and one of the things I discovered in my research, in fact, Rob, I'll ask you this question to illustrate. How important is it to you that your wife is happy?
Oh, that's what I try to do every day, is to do something to make her happy.
Rob, I can't hear you. I seem to have lost you.
I try to make her happy all the time.
Rob?
Yes?
Sorry to say I cannot hear you.
I'm here.
On a landline.
I'm here.
Not sure what to do.
All right, we're going to have to take an early break here, and Craig will try and figure out what's...
standing by, awaiting further instructions, but I cannot hear anything.
You can't. Geez, I don't know. This is our landline, so hold on. We're going to... do you hear me now?
I do.
Okay.
Got you now.
All right. We didn't touch anything over here. But...
And we didn't either, but...
Well, there you go. We've got a guy who's probably working on a telephone system somewhere who says, yeah, nothing makes my wife happy. I'll show them. Actually, the answer to your question was, I try every day to make her as happy as she can because she's my best friend, and when she's happy, I'm happy.
Exactly. So I've asked thousands of men that question, and they all say the same thing. They say, oh, my gosh, it's imperative, or it's everything, or it's the only thing. Because if mom is not happy, nobody's happy.
That's right. Happy wife, happy life. Stand by, Laura. You and I have to take our 2-minute commercial break. Laura Doyle is our guest. www.lauradoyle.org. I'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X-Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled lite.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
www.lauradoyle.org is the website where my guest this hour can be found. She has a great website. She's also the author of The Surrendered Wife. And once again, Laura Doyle is my guest. Her website is www.lauradoyle.org. Okay, Laura, if we understand that, based on the research you've done and my very own experience and Craig's own experience, that the saying, a happy wife gives a happy life, where do so many marriages go wrong then? Like, it's a very simple formula.
I know, but for me, for some reason, after falling in love, madly in love with my husband, and then getting married, I decided that maybe I was a little bit smarter than him, and I was a little bit better at doing just about everything. So I started giving him helpful suggestions. Like, I was going to help him be more tidy. I was going to help him load the dishwasher the correct way, which would be my way. And I was going to help him throw out that old Holy U2 T-shirt from the 90s, from the last millennium.
It sounds like you wanted to change him.
I did. And in the process, I was making myself exhausted. I was alienating my husband, who just did not like being controlled, obviously. And both of us were completely miserable. The distance was so bad, it got to where he just would rather watch TV than have my company or even to make love to me. We just were completely estranged, and I was very close to filing for divorce.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you turn it around? How did you make lemonade out of a lemon situation?
Well, what I did was I really didn't want to be divorced. I was pretty desperate at that point. We'd been in the counseling for a while. That wasn't really working. So I just decided I'm going to start asking women with long, happy marriages. Like maybe I would have asked your wife.
Yeah.
You know, what's your secret? What do you suggest? And they would say these things, Rob, that didn't even make sense to me. I was like, I don't even understand what you're talking about. Like, one woman said, well, I try never to criticize my husband no matter how much it seems like he deserves it. And I was like, oh, God, have you got anything else? Because I don't think I can do that.
Well,
but eventually I became willing to do it.
I think constructive criticism is great. It's how the criticism is given where the problem is.
Well, maybe that's true, but in my case, I found there was a lot of relief in really just focusing on what I was up to and what I was doing. In fact, one of the things that emerged for me when I stopped focusing on everything my husband was doing and started focusing on my own life is I got to write a book. It became a New York Times bestseller. It was published in 16 languages in 27 countries. I got to go on national television, international television. And it was a heck of a lot scarier than being the armchair quarterback of my husband's life, which felt relatively safe. So I think in some ways it was kind of an avoidance of my own, the work that was in front of me.
You call yourself a surrendered wife. Does that mean you do whatever your husband says?
No. A surrendered wife just knows that she can't change anyone besides herself. So she doesn't try. She doesn't tell her husband what to wear, or how to drive, or what to do at work. Instead, she focuses on her own happiness, and that, in turn, really improves the intimacy.
What about the husbands? Shouldn't there be a book for some husbands out there about, the surrendered husband?
Well, Rob, you've been married a long time, so I think you probably already know what I discovered in my research, which is that women are the ones who keep the relationships. We are the ones that set the culture and decide if it's going to be fun and playful and connected or if it's just going to be stressful and miserable and distant. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Not entirely. I agree.
No?
I agree to some point. But I believe that any relationship, whether it's at the workplace or with your wife or with your siblings or with your friends, is a give and take situation. And I think, based on what I've seen over my many years, that one of the biggest problems is communication, where one party likes to talk, but they don't like to listen.
Well, I think you phrased that very well, because I know for me, when I used to hear that communication was the key to a happy relationship, I thought that meant I should sit my husband down on the couch and say, we need to talk about the relationship, and that we should spend like a couple of hours hashing everything out. And, of course, my husband would just rather have his toenails pulled off, probably slowly, than to have that conversation. So it wasn't helping either one of us feel more connected. And one of the things that I learned from the long, happily married women was that I can communicate volumes in just almost like in one word. In one word, I can say what it used to take me hours and days and weeks to communicate to my husband. Like, if he hurts my feelings, all I need to say is, ouch.
Exactly.
Just ouch. He doesn't want to hurt my feelings. And
Nope.
so when he hears that,